gentlemen, welcome back to the June 2020 edition of the Bizarre Briefing. I'm Bryce Castillo. Unprecedented episode today. For the first time ever, we are not joined with Brant Hughes, who is taking some time off, but we've still got John Rayo.
Hi.
Corey Cranfield.
Yes.
Jacob Merrill.
Hello.
And we are joined with one of our remote editors, Fabian Montes. Thank you for joining us, Fabian.
Hey guys, thank you for having me.
So let's John, can you introduce Fabian a little bit for us?
Yes.
Because you knew him, you knew and continue to know Fabian.
That is all true. Fabian,
Some of that's true, yeah.
Fabian, I would say, is a lot like myself and a lot like Matt David, who we've met previously. He is kind of a all-around, do everything possible to make a film get finished person. He's a cinematographer, a director, a DP, an AD, whatever you need, this guy can do. And right now, we need him to edit copious amounts of footage.
There you go. Well,
That's pretty much it.
how many videos have you done for us so far, Fabian?
I think I've done maybe 6 videos for you guys.
Oh, cool.
Something like that. Yeah.
Well, that's great. Well, speaking to John's mention of copious amounts of footage, over the past month or so, how long was that? 2 weeks? 3 weeks?
2 weeks. It was 2 weeks.
It was like 2.5 weeks?
Yeah, it was, I guess technically probably like 16 days, 17 days.
So we had Jason Murphy come out and live at the studio. And while we shot stuff, while we had like a shooting schedule of shooting a bunch of stuff. Corey, can you talk about that a little bit? Yeah,
so Jason came out of quarantine to work with us for a handful of weeks. And man, we had a pretty big schedule. We knew we wouldn't get to all of the proposed ideas for the shoot. So we had probably nearly 30 ideas set
for episodes,
correct? Yep, individual episodes. And so we made it through 16 or 17 or so, but then also we also did a handful of ads and other shoots we needed to do as well, like Scam Nation and other shoots. So it was actually pretty productive. We would love to get to a few more, but man, that's tough doing more than 1 or 2 episodes a day.
Yeah, especially with trying to have a very fluid crew available for any given day.
Yeah.
And now that we've added the what do we do every single day? Happy hour.
Yeah,
happy hour. The 90 Second Happy Hour, which we'll talk about in a little bit. That also kind of
one of the challenges was like everybody still had their normal day job. Mm-hmm. So we had that 2-week shoot, but then John still had to do the editing. You still had to do Scam Nation and a podcast. I was still doing all the operations in the background. Brian doing all his things. So it was kind of tough keeping everybody who's coming in and out to do the shoots. Yeah, it was pretty challenging.
Yeah, but I did feel good coming out of that.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So briefly, let's talk about some of the episodes that we shot. Just brief, elevator pitches on some of these.
Pinhole camera and DIY film development. That one was actually a struggle to shoot.
Yeah, that one because no part of it where it was us doing the way any one other person had done it before.
Yes.
It was a lot of like, this person did this and this person did this, and trying to kind of guesswork it out.
Yeah, for the record, Fabian, I just uploaded that to my Dropbox, and it's like over 300 gigs.
Yeah.
So that's gonna go the distance, man.
I'll be sharing that with you or Matt soon.
Maybe we'll. We could. I feel like we should talk more about these stories when those videos come out.
Yeah,
because that one has its own story of who is the actual and dealing with actual lights and papers and stuff.
We'll keep on moving. Dakota Fire Pit.
Okay. It's like an underground
fire pit. Yes.
Okay.
Alcohol rockets, which is one of my favorites because I'm the one that designed that episode and then got to be on the episode.
You made a very scary little contraption. We've got a video of it posted up on the TikTok, and it might be on the Instagram. Mm-hmm. But you just so proud with your trident of fucking hell.
Yes. All the whoosh.
Yeah.
I tried to tell Jason.
That thing was scary, by the way. We shot Jacob. Have you ever shot any sort of like I don't know, potato rockets or any rocket little gun things?
Are you talking like pop caps or like fireworks? Because yes, I
Even
know.
fireworks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess.
The thing that Corey made was way beyond the level of like loudness and intensity than we expected for this thing.
Yeah.
But very cool. So
I did learn something on an episode though, is because usually I was taking care of the safety side of everything, and I know now that safety can't be handled by anybody that's on camera because your brain just doesn't.
You're not
function
thinking
that-
about.
Yeah, because I had earplugs and all the safety stuff right there in a box 2 feet away from us.
And it wasn't until after the biggest, loudest boom I'd ever heard, and was seriously scared I had hurt my hearing.
Yeah, and you were far away, not far away, but you were not as close as us.
I was a good distance, but I definitely like cowered because it was also that one they shot a kind of at an angle, but one of the first ones they kind of shot straight up, and I was very worried about debris. So okay, so the alcohol rocket.
The alcohol rocket. Yep. Military hand signals.
Okay, is it hand signaling? Sure.
Yep.
Do
All
this.
the moving back and forth, and
the
you over
Vogue
there, and all that. GPS tracker.
GPS track.
You
Oh, I
weren't
must
here
have missed that one.
Yeah, you weren't here for that one.
Okay.
Very simple. It's exactly what it sounds like, but it scared the hell out of me because I didn't know they were so cheap and available now.
Oh yeah. Okay.
That one involves a red Jeep.
I wondered whose vehicle would be.
Yep. Mask letter communications.
Okay, that was a cute little one. I had not. I was not aware of that. That was a very cool one.
Yep, that one was fun. Samurai sword book safe.
So did that one actually get finished?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And that was one where Brian tapped out because we had shot a bunch of episodes with Brian and not Jason.
Correct.
And so I think in Brian's mind that was kind of rebalancing the scales a little
Correct.
bit.
And also it just didn't make sense necessarily for him to be there. We didn't need him just because it was really Annalisa and Jason describing how the build went. And so she did most of the cutting of the books and prep work. So it just made sense just for her and Jason to cover the details.
We have a great photo of Annalisa with the sword and the first book that she cut. And so, I mean, it's this big hole. Obviously, the sword didn't cut it out, but she's just got the big katana and the sword or the book kind of dangling around it. It's great.
Nice. Let's see here. Escape straitjacket.
Okay.
That one's obviously pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Use bronze.
Fabian's been working on that one the last
Oh, yeah?
days.
Nice.
Yeah, I learned a lot. Not that someone's going to put me in a straitjacket, but I know how to get out of one now if it ever happens. So
Yeah.
Nice. 3 stink bombs. That was one of the earliest ones we shot. I think it's not the first.
One of the stinkers of the shoot also, which like I think we had a very good hit rate in terms of a number of episodes we filmed and number that are like really like solid. I think that was one of the maybe the only one that felt like
I'll have to look. There was one or two right at the start that I don't think we were fully up to speed on full execution across the board.
Yeah.
It was still a fun, entertaining episode because the guys are always fun.
Yeah. And we can do that again.
Yeah.
That thing we can kind of replicate. Okay.
Yep. Scorpion UV detection.
That one Fabian is currently on.
Oh, really? How was
that's
is
in the process.
Well, I finally got him footage that worked because Brian's original upload was broken.
Oh, he probably. Yeah, I gotcha. Have you started that one, Fabian?
I have started it. Yes.
Understanding that that's probably very challenging footage. I guess, how about this? On a 1 to 10 difficulty scale, how difficult is that footage? Because the guys shot it themselves at night on their phones, and there's UV light, and I'm sure they're just having a very free-flowing stream of consciousness discussion.
Yeah. I mean, as soon as I got that, the very first thing I did, I was like, contacted John and said, "Hey, John, this is all cell phone footage." He says, "Yeah."
Yeah.
That's the way this episode's gonna be. And I was like, "Oh, okay." So I didn't get the wrong footage. I was like, "All right." So the show must go on. And then second thing I said was like, "Hey, John, this file it didn't come through. It's corrupted." I was like, "Oh, I'll get that from Adam. No worries." Sorry, not Adam.
Oh, fired.
Put a bean in the jar.
I am done. Anyways, we got that footage, and but yeah, no, it's completely different in the sense that you have to deal with like the whole low light element. You don't have second audio on that, and then you just it's a very awkward warp effect that you got going on here and there. So you have to work around all of that as opposed to having like a DSLR, or you have like a prosumer cinema camera that is able to pick up everything and not have that warp distortion going on.
Yeah. And as far as like putting together the story of that video, how does it compare, I guess, to the more, I don't know, stricter shot footage that we've passed your way before?
Like, did they have a beginning, middle, and end? I haven't even looked at the footage yet.
To me, it felt, the best way to describe that to you is I'm a paratrooper and someone just said, "Oh, here you go, out the plane." And I just landed there and I'm like, okay, now what do I do? It's very different. Yeah, because you kind of feel like you're just kind of running around with these guys trying to find scorpions.
Yeah.
As far as the beginning, middle, and end, not too sure, but we will find one. It will happen.
There you go.
By the way, not to harp on the Adam comment too much, but you did make one of Brian's favorite comparisons of all time, Fabian. You said something like Adam Savage, Charlie Day hybrid, and Brian said that's one of the favorite combos
Two of
he's
his
heard.
favorite guys.
Oh man, you actually told him that. Oh man, all right.
He loved it. He's like, no, that combo works, man. I love that.
Corey,
Okay,
any other highlights from that shoot,
Of the Scorpion shoot?
or just from the shooting schedule?
Oh, yeah. Spotting emergency military signals from the air. So we used a drone to fly over. Did you know?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we
The
did
ground
signals on the ground, like, SOS written in the dirt or rocks or whatever. So Jason went out and prepped a bunch of signals in the dirt.
Yeah.
And then Brian flew the drones.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see how it comes out, because I didn't see any of the drone footage as we were shooting it.
It looks pretty good.
Yeah. Okay.
It
Nice.
looks pretty good.
Any more? I feel like there was one I had a hot take about, but I can't think about it.
Red fire starter.
Okay. Yeah.
So we used a Dakota fire hole, basically.
And like
another
chemicals.
Yeah,
to,
so
like,
we used some
make a bright
chemicals
fire?
to make some crazy hellfire.
Okay. Cool.
Yep. Paracord monkey fist. So this is one of Annalisa's.
Another Annalisa one.
Yep, she created some monkey fist for us and showed us how to make those, which is basically a self-defense tool.
Yeah.
Fabian, you looked like you were shaking your head on that one. Did you have any comment?
I can't wait to. I didn't work on that one, but I can't wait to see it.
Nice.
Good lord!
Yeah,
oh
that
my
one
gosh.
is with Matt David right now.
Nice.
That was
okay.
That was when we shot it, because anytime there's arts and crafts, it's like 50-50 on if it's how long it's going to take and if it's going to be successful. But that one I think really came out really nicely, and I think Annalisa did a really good job instructing the guys and showing them the way to.
And that was the first episode that she's been on as a
I think so.
true guest.
Right, because
Anyways.
that Katana in the book safe was after that.
Yeah. So that was her.
Yeah, and that one's going to come out Friday.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah, I think we're calling that Deadly Arts and Crafts with Annalisa.
Oh, great.
Let's see here. What else does we have? Testing homemade bolas.
Oh, sure. And that one came out.
Yep.
Yeah.
The testing the bolas. We also had the Cincinnati fire kite. Did we talk about that? That one came out.
Yep.
Yeah, that was another one of Fabian's. That one did really, like, all the ones that we're going to talk about have done really, really well. Like, this last month has just been crazy for us.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a function of us doing more than one video a week?
No, because we've been pretty consistent about 2 videos a week for a while, but just something kind of clicked, like, 5-6 weeks ago. Yeah. And if you ask Brian, he'll tell you it's because we got back to the formula of 2 guys learning and or teaching each other something and trying the thing. It wasn't anything long distance. It wasn't anything like just like the whiskey tour went great. That went really well. But most of our stuff has been pretty unorthodox up until like you get to contact juggling and we get back to the formula. No matter who's sitting in the seat, we get back to the 2 guys teaching and learning from each other kind of thing.
I wonder. I do wonder about it. I mean, this is a little bit of a side jag, but so much of I don't know, view count is just based on like attracting people to click on the video.
Yeah.
Right. And so like view time is obviously impacted by 1-to-1 how long they watch a video. But I also, and maybe it's because Jason was in person that we could do more attractive subjects of videos, but I don't. I don't know that like it's a direct connection of like Jason's Jason's in person, and now people magically know that and they're clicking the video more.
Yeah, because even before he was actually back, like Contact Juggling was me, but he was still on campus when we released that. So it was just this. I think we just need people to know Jason is here, man, and they'll just watch. I don't know.
Yeah.
Ooh, one of the other highlights was the drone. So shooting the net out of a shotgun.
A net round.
Net round.
Yeah.
So that was a fun one. Hey, look at that guy.
And you were on that one, Corey,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Is that your first time being on a video?
I think so. Yeah, I've been on an ad, but I think that was the first time in a video. And it's funny because that wasn't planned. It's just Brian was like, "Hey, we need somebody to talk to."
Mm-mm.
And the guy that was flying our drone, Seth, the Seth AI. Yeah, he basically didn't want to. He had no idea about the shells. He was just there to fly the drones.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, "Well, I'm the one that ordered the shells, so I guess I'll just hop on and talk about them."
Yeah. Cool. So those videos will be coming out over the next few months or so, and then once they're used up, I guess we'll figure stuff out because I don't know that we have any plans to shoot more Modern Rogue stuff.
August, we will do another 2-week run.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That is at least penciled in the books. We don't know the dates and times, and depending on what happens with the world in general. But currently, yes, we're planning on doing another round like we did in June.
Okay.
For Modern Rogue.
The value of the show is learning things. This is the core reason why we do the show. Okay, so August.
Yeah,
Very
Fabian, for the record, they started this show because nobody ever talked to each other about what was going on. So they're like, let's just do a show, and that'll give us an excuse.
Basically.
That's good. Go with it, man. Hey, jeez, you're kidding me.
So some of the other Modern Rogue videos that have come out recently, John, you kind of wanted to highlight a little bit more.
Yeah.
Do you want to start with the Contact Juggling one?
Yeah, and that one not only do I love because I'm in it and I got to show off my cool skills, but Fabian did the bulk editing on that, and also that was one of the first ones that just kind of took off. Like it just did crazy well, and I'm glad we got it out there right when we did. Mm-hmm. You know, that way it had kind of in my mind, kind of a perfect transition from the Jason at a distance time to the now Jason is officially back time.
Fabian, what was the experience of editing Contact Juggling? Because this I think is one of our more traditional shot videos compared to the Scorpion UV light one.
It didn't even feel like work, man. It was so much fun putting this one together. So much so that I even ended up buying a set of these, and
really?
I told John, I go, hey, look what you did, man. You and Modern Rogue, like this weekend's gonna be a trip. And he says to me, hey, make sure you keep all valuables away from the ball. I said, okay, sure, whatever. So as I'm editing, I'm practicing with this thing, and I cracked the keyboard already.
Oh, no.
I broke a key off of one of my main editing keyboards that I've had for like the past 10 years, man.
Oh no. Yeah, you gotta.
But it was
I like when I'm editing Scam Nation stuff. Sometimes if I need to like wrap my head around how like a card trick works, I will do it at my desk and have to move stuff around and stuff will fall over and stuff. But a weighted ball like that would be even worse, I think.
Most definitely, yeah. But yeah, straightforward. The dynamic between them and the format they got going for that, it all worked out well. Very fun episode. I learned a lot, and then I also learned a lot about Ginsu, which was unexpected, and it took me back to all of these references like Labyrinth and the Muppets and whatnot. I'm like, man, these guys, they just have so much fun, material and so much history into all these videos that they put together. So it's not just Contact Juggling. You usually watch one of these episodes, and after watching it, you've learn 5-6 different things, even if it's just like a reference, a childhood reference or whatnot, like Labyrinth.
I mean, especially Labyrinth, right? Like probably the most famous example of Contact Juggling.
Yeah, that is the kind of sort of the reason it exists in the popular culture, and I'm sure Michael Motion weirdly regrets ever doing it.
What?
Yeah,
What?
Well, he was never happy about other people doing contact juggling.
Oh my god!
Like, because he basically invented it, and then
And they
everybody else
took it from him. They took his art,
took
and
it,
he's the only
man.
one allowed to do it. Very weird. Any other things on contact juggling, John? Or,
No, I hadn't heard all of Fabian's thoughts about the modern rogue in general, and that was pretty cool. Thank you, Fabian. I did not put him up to that, so that was good to hear.
Yeah, Labyrinth, the DVD's on its way, man. I ordered it.
Lord.
Speaking of other Bard and Rogue videos to highlight, we did another sort of behind, like I know on Scam Nation, we talked about this a little while ago. We had a live stream where we talked a little bit about the podcast studio in here. But there's a Modern Rogue video about how both this space works, a little bit this podcast studio, and a little bit of the soundstage where we shoot Modern Rogue and Scam Nation.
Yeah, and I was very happy about that episode because not only is it cool to show people like how we do what we do, but the soundstage has always been and is sort of continuing to be like my baby. Like I'm building this set and I've been building these flats and I've been like kind of honing the look of where it's going and what we're doing with it. And so it's just, I was just really happy to show that off. And the ending of this episode was one of my favorite things ever because I got my English friend Deborah Hyde to step in and do her BBC end credit sequence impersonation.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is this it? Here, maybe we can take a little brief listen to it.
We'll see you next time.
Join Brian later tonight on Scam Nation as he teaches his children to play with matches. And don't forget happy hour every day at 5 p.m. Eastern, because being stuck at home is no excuse for sobriety. Coming up next, Jason Murphy makes his triumphant return as a changeling.
Yeah.
That's cute. That's cute. And
I just
like how you
always
got
wanted to do that, and she was like, "Yeah, man, here's the audio." And I even offered to pay her, and she's like, "No, don't worry about it. That was fun."
Oh, that's sweet. And I like working in the Patreon. Were those the patron names or the Founders Club's names in the credits?
Those were everybody. Those were
everybody.
the founders and the patrons.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm glad that we have another video talking a little bit about how our setups are. I know we've had people asking about, especially the podcast and the live streaming setup here, and it's always been kind of bits and pieces, and it's the most technically complicated because we have the different computers and we have all the cameras and the setups here.
Yeah, I mean, I spent like a month learning your setup, and right now I am at the point where I can turn everything on so that Brian could sit down and be like, "Yeah, we're about ready to go."
Yeah, and with the happy hours, Brian has reacclimated himself to how all this works.
Yeah,
because I mean, I've been here about 5 years, and I've been doing the podcast and the live streaming stuff for the past 4. And so when we talk about the happy hour a little bit more later, some of that stuff had kind of gotten rusty for him. But yeah, it would be good. We have had people ask about it, so maybe I'll figure out some way to maybe we'll make it a podcast. Maybe we'll just record a script and talk briefly. But because I don't know, maybe you do need the visuals though. I don't know. We'll figure that out. Any other Modern Rogue video stuff that's come out?
Real 10-second thing about the quarantine bag exchange video. That was a cool video to make, and that was kind of in my mind sort of the last gem that we had in this whole distance situation was them exchanging gifts. So it was cool to like get that last little thing. But then the next video,
the Cincinnati fire kite.
Yeah, that is sort of officially, unofficially, Jason's return. And Fabian, do you have any thoughts about how that video went?
I had never even heard of a freaking Cincinnati fire kite, man. I was like, what are these guys trying to do? And then and putting this together and going through all their attempts and all their quirks behind the scenes and whatnot. And then to finally see this ashy newspaper just take off, 60, 70 feet into the air, I was like, oh, that's what all that was about. So yeah, Interesting concept, man. Again, with the freaking pop culture references, the whole Time Bandits thing. This guy always has something to reference. You know, he never runs out of anything to reference.
The interesting thing about the Cincinnati Fire Kite, as a subject matter, is this has been something that has been on the back burner since before COVID.
Really?
Always been like, we could do this.
That's right.
And it's always been like, because we tend to start shoots between noon and 2 o'clock or so, and we'll go as long as we go until everyone's tired. But, depending on the season, depending on the time of day, depending on the season, sunset might be 6 o'clock, sunset might be 8:30. And by that point, everyone's tired. We've been shooting nonstop. Sometimes we haven't had any sort of meal, but we've always had if we need one, we can do the Cincinnati Fire Kite. And I always assumed that meant it was like a real easy gimme of an episode. Yeah. And on that shoot day, I remember that shoot day because I came late. I came in right at the end of the filming, and you guys had been at it for a while, and it didn't really seem like they had figured out a method to make it work.
I have more information on that.
Yeah. So
it was weird. Brian was in a weird mood, not a bad mood. It was just like he was just riffing. So I did a test. It worked great. We did, I don't know, a handful of them that didn't work quite great. And then we did the one that actually worked in the video. We did that one relatively early on, maybe a third of the way through the shoot. And then for whatever reason, Brian was just like, nope, we're just going to keep doing this forever.
Like Fabian, I'm sure you can attest that this was definitely a story that was found in the editing room, because the way that the video presents it, that is not how it happened.
Yeah, because I know when I walked in, I had assumed you hadn't gotten any on camera done. And then they got one, and Brian was like, let's keep going. Let's make a big one. That was and so did that thread get cut from the video?
Oh yeah, I cut it all. I just like Fabian handed me what I consider to be a pretty generous cut, and I'm like, no, I am gutting this baby. I'm just gutting it.
Yeah. Because when they get this one in the video and it goes off, I thought, great, wrap it up, let's go. They got it perfectly.
Yeah. The only thing I can compare the shoot to is when a comedian decides to kill a room. When a comedian just has the mic and he's the last person there, and he's a bit of a headliner, but he's just in a weird mood. He's like, no, I'm going to get every single person to walk. I'm going to get them all to walk out. And that's what it felt like. It was like he's just killing the room. I don't know why, but he's going to kill the room.
Well, and I think it happens enough times on set where we find the story mid-shoot, where if they did get a mega Cincinnati Fire Kite to go, that would be really cool.
Yeah.
And it's worth investing a little bit of time into doing it. But I know sometimes when you get an idea, especially one that maybe hasn't been tested, you have no idea what the time investment's going to be. And I think it seemed like a very good attempt at because at first it was just, can we get another one to fly, and then can we get a mega one?
And maybe it was.
I think it's a good. I don't think he really went. It didn't feel like he went too long after they got that success one.
It was a while. How long, Fabian, was it after the success condition?
Man, I don't know. After a while, I was praying with him. I was like, come on, Cincinnati Fire Kite. Come on, Cincinnati Fire Kite. I was cheering with him and whatnot. I don't know. This one seemed to go the distance. Even after they got it to work, I think they did another 4 or 5 attempts.
Yeah.
It just something like that. Yeah. And then we had all the attempts beforehand as well,
Sure.
You know what it might have been also is because you guys technically did it on Scam School back in the day, with the napkins or whatever. And Brian kept describing the napkin thing. And the way he described it was just this napkin taking off with flame. And no, it was the same exact thing. The napkin burns all the way to the brown black, and then it floats away.
Oh.
So I think maybe in his mind, he was expecting
that must be a very old video, because I don't think we didn't produce that in the 6+ years.
Well, it took place in LA, so
yeah, no, definitely, we didn't. So there could be the fish may have grown a little bit in that story. Yeah. So that's the Cincinnati Fire Kite. Any other Monterey videos you want to talk about, John?
Rope dart surprised the hell out of me because I thought for sure, because I thought we made a good video and I thought we had a good title, thumbnail, blah, blah, blah. But I was for sure that people are going to come at us for bait and switch. Because guess what? Guess what is not in the video about rope darts? A rope dart.
Sure.
At all.
Well, a rope dart is very dangerous.
Yes. And so I was so ready for the little bit of backlash of, oh, there's no rope dart in here. Nobody cared. Not a single person. Everybody was on board with this.
Yeah. Oh, this was the video that I wanted to talk about because in terms of that shoot schedule, I don't think we had any major technical hiccups except on this video.
Oh, what was the...
Oh, yeah.
Maybe I didn't tell you. Maybe I only told Brant. Did you edit this one, John? Or who do you...
Oh, it was me and Matt David.
Okay, so my camera. So I had the camera left camera, and it was doing slow-mo at the time at the end when he was doing the scorpion.
Oh, there's a huge chunk just not in non-existent.
So there's some missing footage because maybe, I don't know who would have done this. Maybe someone had started recording a little earlier than everyone else did, and then didn't notice that they had done that when everyone started recording, and then maybe have hit the record button and accidentally turned it off for a few minutes. And so it was recording during the second round of doing it and getting the ending there, but there was a good few minutes there that my slow-mo was just not there recording at all.
I will say Matt handed me some awkward cutting to the point where I'm like, dude, if you're avoiding a jump cut, like go to the third angle. And he said, there is none. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm not calling you a liar, Matt, but I'm going to look myself. And I looked, I was like, oh, damn, I guess. All right.
Yeah. That was the thing, because whenever there's a screw up like that, and I
want to confess a screw up too when you get done.
Okay. Obviously I know for me, in my experience, I take it very hard. I feel very shitty about it. It sucks a lot. And the very last thing I want to do is loudly proclaim, I fucked up. We need to do that again. Especially because we did get him doing the ending again, or doing it a full time through and the whole like outro bit. And so I think I must have just called Brant over and explained that that's what happened, so that someone knew that it happened. Because it does suck, and you don't want to like stop the energy of the shoot, especially when it's like kind of high pressure and everyone is feeling kind of jam packed with shoots. So that one's on me. Apologies,
Corey. Tell Bryce what you did.
What was your screw?
You know what I did. You were there. You may not remember it.
I mean, I probably don't remember it.
It was straight up screwed up the audio on the Whiskey Vault tour.
You screwed the audio up?
Yeah.
I did notice the audio on that was a little messy.
Yeah, because what happened was we went into the vault, right?
Uh-huh.
And then so we did some pre-recording inside the vault. Then the guys went back outside. Daniel's mic pack died or turned off because that one's been kind of weird. It's been like turning off.
If it loses connection long enough, they'll go to sleep.
So I'm guessing when they went outside the vault door killed it.
The door was closed
or something.
Right.
So when they came back in, I didn't notice that his audio wasn't picking back up. Now the thing is I could still hear him pretty clearly because we're in a small room and he's right next to Brian.
Yeah.
So I didn't notice it for like, I don't know, 10 minutes or something. It was a pretty long stretch. Now, luckily, we have a good audio guy.
My guy. I called my guy. I'm like, can you just make this work? And he's like, it's going to cost you. I'm like, I know.
He did. And the thing is it passed Brian's sniff test. Like, he never noticed it.
Yeah, like Brian never called me out on the bad sound.
I could tell it was different, but...
It was somewhat natural just because when Daniel would turn to look away, his mic would drop off, right? Mm-hmm. So it was very kind of natural because he would look away from Brian.
Yeah.
And so it felt somewhat natural that you would expect that to happen. Yeah. So I don't think it was that. And he did a pretty good job of using camera audio and Brian's mic pack to mask.
Yeah, because that room probably was not too bad in terms of acoustics. I mean, you have a lot of hard surfaces there with all the bottles, but also you have a lot of angles that could eat up. So I don't know. I guess I never took I didn't have any reason to take in the acoustics of the space, but that's one of the silver linings of us doing everything with lav mics.
Yep.
Which is like you kind of have some failover, right? I know when we've done Scam Nation stuff, when we have small drops from the mic packs, it's hard to tell when you're recording because unlike the analog, the old Sennheiser ones that we had, where it would static out, you would hear it go. These just drop out, and it's short, but it definitely drops out, and you don't have any data. That's easy enough to paste over and fix around, but if it was just like us using just a boom mic or something, like I've used that boom mic a couple of times, and it's like it's good for what it needs to do, but also like I don't think we have like any sort of stabilizer on it, so you get all of the finger touchy stuff.
Yeah, and we don't have like a studio grade like boom pole. Like we can't really put it out there. Like it only goes like what 8-9 feet.
Yeah,
and that's the max.
So that's that happens, right? I mean, even the studio walkthrough, we had to shoot that first segment again because the audio, that was a rustling audio.
Yeah, it was just like constantly rustling, and I can't figure out for the life of me what was going on.
My guess is so we shot that. It was the studio. Like, how do we make a studio look like a TV set? And it's Brian in this podcast studio space. I think that was before we transitioned to using, we have kind of harder rubber pieces. And my guess is that we have a windscreen and tape sort of solution. So it's a windscreen on one side and kind of a harder, slightly hard tape on the opposite side. And either he was wearing like a looser t-shirt that day, or for whatever reason, it was just rustling too much, and maybe Annalisa didn't know
she told us, and we just said it'd be fine. It wasn't fine.
Yeah, that happens.
So I made sure to tell her all about Corey's mistakes, so she would feel better. and she's like, I know I shouldn't, but I do feel a little better.
So that'll do for Monorug. A lot of Monorug stuff we got shot. A lot more stories I'm sure we'll tell as those videos make their way out. A little bit of a store update. Jacob. Hi, Jacob.
Hello.
This is your part of the show.
My time to shine. Yeah.
So we are working on launching. We won't talk in specifics, but there's a new product coming to Scam Stuff soon, right?
Yes. I think you know more about it than me, but this time
I think I do.
I've spent hours preparing them so that the moment they launch, they are ready to ship out.
Oh, nice.
We've had launches where
it takes a while.
We get a ton of orders, and it's like you're going to spend the next X hours or even days prepping them and shipping them out and doing nothing but that.
Yeah.
These are ready to go.
Yeah. So. Is that a byproduct of we've known we wanted to do these for a long time? Because I think we've kind of pushed on when we actually want to release these.
I think it's because we've had the Pin of Greatness, and then the Fire Wallet Neo is the newest, and we're just trying to space them out.
Okay.
I don't know if it was deliberately decided like we can launch the Fire Wallet or this one, and we decided which one would go first, but it's been prepped for a little while.
Yeah. And so I think we'll have a video about it go out this week as of this recording, July 7. That'll probably be on Friday or so. But we shot a fun little skit with it. We shot them kind of using it, and then...
When did that shoot take place?
You were there for it. That was on one of those shoot days during the schedule. We shot it in this room over there by the arcade cabinets.
Oh, bloody hell! I was here for that whole thing.
Yeah. We don't. I don't know that there's too much to talk about that video shoot, but
Brian's arcade machine died.
One of the big arcade machines did. I think that power supply went out.
Yeah, the whole computer.
Yeah, I mean, power supplies do that when they it had scorch. Oh yeah, because the strip there is bad. We need to throw that strip out. I mean, no one's gonna look to use it because you can see.
It's toast. Yeah, no, but I really look forward to these new masks.
No, they're not masks.
They're invisible scam masks. No,
We
Is that
should
not?
just have masks. I
Yeah,
don't
we
know.
just sell masks, but they're invisible. And...
No, but this is a fun little product, and it'll be interesting to see how it's received because it's with coronavirus happening, it's maybe a weird time for it. I'll say.
Yeah.
So it's a slightly weird time for it, but it's a fun thing, and you can still use it on your family. You know, people are finding ways to get together again, and so this will be a fun little thing.
I think it'll bring a smile.
Yeah.
To a lot of people. It's wholesome.
Yeah. So that's a little bit of a store update. Happy hour. We talked about this a little bit. I don't know if we mentioned it on this show in the past couple of episodes or not. Maybe we have. I didn't see it in our topics list from episodes past, but 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, Brian has been doing the Night Attack Happy Hour, which is just an hour of him and Justin, and sometimes they wrangle in guests. I've been on it. John's been on it.
Yeah.
Corey, you've been on it a couple of times, I think. The Happy Hour.
Yeah, 2-3 times. Yeah.
Kind
Bonnie's
of
on it a
whoever wants
bunch.
to join.
Yeah, and they just get on and talk for an hour, and it's very loosey goosey. That is at 4 o'clock Central, 4 to 5 o'clock Central, here on Twitch.tv/Night Attack. We've been getting a lot of feed. So the guys, so I'm not on Happy Hour very much, and I don't tend to tune in to it very much because I hear a lot of Brian already.
Wow.
And I guess at some point he was like on the show mentioned like, well, we can't do 5 new hours of content, 5 days a week, or an hour 4 or 5 days a week on forever. It just can't happen forever, I think was probably the tenor of the discussion. And so they called for feedback, and I did not know that discussion happened. So I log into the Night Attack mailing address, which is where they sent everybody to send stuff in. And it's an inbox that they don't check. And so I just loaded up one day, and there's 20 new messages of like, Happy Hour feedback. Please keep doing, don't kill Happy Hour. And everybody's like super cool and so super understanding that like, it kind of is like, they didn't pick a great time for it, and it's a lot. It picked a lot, so I think people are understanding that there might be some changes to that. But that's all been in the Night Attack feeds. It's been on the YouTube channel. We had someone tweet me yesterday saying, "Oh, the Twitch VOD got mute for a little bit," but it's also on YouTube, so those can be listened to there. It's kind of a neat little thing. And like I think Night Attack has been on a good hot streak the past couple months or so lately too. So that's pretty good. Like having the Opal has been really nice. So the podcast has been doing really good.
I think we got the internet mostly fixed.
Oh my goodness. That's the internet
check
alarm. Do
that
not.
I even have my phone muted and it still does that. But I think we have the internet mostly fixed now.
Yeah, a little internet update. I don't know if we had this set up last episode, but we are running 2 different ISPs basically in this room.
I think we talked about it last episode.
Okay.
I think.
Mostly it's been good. We've found that we've had to restart the Spectrum modem quite a bit. It has some sort of build-up thing where at some point it just kind of cuts out. But otherwise it's been pretty nice.
Well, in the last few days, are we to understand that this quote-unquote buildup is an electrical issue? Like changing the outlet has actually maybe solved?
So you're asking me for an answer I don't have.
Oh, okay.
But we changed what is it, breaker that the power is running through, and it seems like there have been less issues with it. We know that when the first guy came out and said, yeah, we have a problem and you have a problem. He said our problem was there's a power thing. And I guess if it's on a different breaker, it seems like it's okay. So maybe the electrician.
Yeah, we did some early tests on that where we would move it around and we still had the same issues, even on other breakers. But I mean, technology, man, I don't know.
Fabian, as how do you do a lot of remote editing, and how is like because the internet outages or the internet issues that we've had are, I understand, pretty commonplace across the nation. Have you been having internet issues since COVID?
To the best of my knowledge, there was only one time where it did freak me out because I do a lot of remote editing, primarily through a Dropbox, and there was this one day where even the phone system kind of went down. It was like maybe a month ago.
Yeah.
And even my brother called me, and he's law enforcement, and he says, "Hey, just letting you know, something trippy went on, and they kind of alerted us to that, and like the network went down for a bit, the wireless network, and it affected the internet as well as cell service." So I immediately got on the phone, started calling my clients and saying, "Hey guys, I don't know what's going on, but we might have to switch back to old school mailing each other hard drives, if this persists," because we were on quality control deadlines for a lot of that material. But other than that, it's been fine, no issues. I'm just always worried that I'm going to mess up on John, and I'm going to mess up on Brian, and I'm going to mess up, because I'm always worried about a Toy Story 2 level event happening where all the files just get deleted. But it's been good, man. It's been very productive.
Oh, that's
Fabian, stop me if I'm speaking out of school here, but did you or did you not have a hard drive of Mr. Christopher Nolan's that you returned?
Holy shit!
This guy had a hard drive of Christopher Nolan's.
Of just like raw footage, or
what was it?
Oh no, they're censoring him. Nolan's come for him.
I did go somewhere to pick up something, and when I got it, I was like, "How nice! This, they packaged it for me." Okay, whatever. So I get in the car, I'm like, I need to check this, and I open it up. I go, "Okay, that's not my drive." And then it says Christopher Nolan on there, and I shut that back immediately. I said, "I gotta go get my movie." I gotta make sure that Christopher Nolan gets back his movie. That's about as much as I'm gonna say about that. But I did have Christopher. I had it for a while. I thought about calling him and being like, "Sir, I have this. Shall I give it back to you? Shall I hold on to it?" That was a trip.
That's why your internet's working. They noticed you took a hard drive, and they said, "Make sure his pipe still works."
Oh, good Lord. I was like, "Man, make sure this guy gets it. And can I sign some paperwork? Can you sign some paperwork saying that I did, in fact, give this back to you? I don't want it. Take it back." But that's my Christopher Nolan story. Yeah, man.
So, changing topics here just a little bit. I think it was Jacob who maybe asked right before we started the live stream here about how we do some of the music stuff. And I don't know that we've spent too much time on this program talking about music for the various shows.
No.
So I can speak a little bit to what I do personally. So when we do the live streams and the podcasts and stuff, the music that I'll play, before we start the stream, or sometimes I'll play a bit of it. Most of that is from a record label in Canada called Monster Cat, which has a very open licensing deal. So you pay for Monster Cat Gold, is what it's called, and they let you use it on your Twitch streams. We actually used a good bit of Monster Cat music on Scam Nation, especially in sort of the early days. You can tell it's on any episode where we don't have ads, because when you have a product placement in a video, then the Monster Cat Gold license doesn't apply. You have to pay very, very specific amounts of money for that. But in a lot of the ones that we didn't have ads, we would do that. And now, so we'll still use Monster Cat for the streams because it's on my phone. They have a playlist that they update because they add new music multiple days a week. So that manages to get us there. On Scam Nation now, we use a service called Artlist, ARTLIST. And that's really nice. It's kind of a buffet style music service. It's like $200 a year, and it is as much music as we want. The music stays forever. They whitelist us, and we can run ads and stuff on it. So it's a really, really good deal, considering like that $200 might license 2 Monster Cat songs for one video. So it ends up being pretty nice, and they have a good selection of like pretty modern stuff. So I've been liking that a lot. And then other stuff is just like old funk music I'll play on some of the streams sometimes. And then John, what do you guys do for Modern Row? Because I know Brant had kind of a handshake deal with the Chill Hop record label.
Well, then you know as much as I know, because I still have the same library that I've been cycling through, which is why I brought on Fabian. Did you ever know Anthony Shea? Do you know him? My musician guy? Okay. Well,
No.
Matt's friends with him, but I brought Anthony Shea on for a few times, like to make some select tracks for us, and basically he provides me as much as he can whenever he can, but that's
He
still
makes us custom music.
yeah, like you know
Jesus,
the
that's expensive.
Modern Rogue song. I'm a
The-
modern rogue, and
Oh, sure, the grilled
like-
cheese thing.
yeah, and he's made a few songs like that and a few tracks like that for me. But all told, I have like 20 tracks from him, which is a lot for one person, but we're doing 2 episodes every week. And so I got to keep going back to the chill hop stuff. And Corey has a friend who does music and
Well,
has
he's
given us a few tracks.
He's a friend now.
Oh, a person?
Yes. So yes, a local guy named John Montoya, and he reached out on the Mono Rogues side saying, "Hey, I really love what y'all do. I'd love to provide some music for you. This is what I do." And so I said, "Sure, let's listen." So he sent us a couple demo tracks, and they were exactly what we were looking for on a Modern Rogue.
Yeah.
Very similar to what we already have. So it sounds wonderful. So we ended up talking to him, and he ended up making a handful more songs for us. So we have like 6 or so tracks so far that he said here. He gave us all the license.
Okay.
He's actually somewhat accomplished. If you go look at his IMDb, he's had several songs and tracks and stuff on shows that you would recognize.
Okay, cool. And yeah, I have that Artlist account, which I think we can use for the business side, and I know that they have chill hop shit and other stuff like that. So we just, in case there's a hefty, because commissioning original music could be a hefty price tag. So we also
I mean, anytime I get Anthony to do like an original song, it's it's a paycheck. But all the other stuff that he writes, he'll just give me for free.
Oh, geez.
But if I'm like, dude, I need something specific, I gotta pay.
Okay. Very cool. So that's a little bit about how we do music stuff.
I'm shocked that Kevin MacLeod never came up and all that.
No, everyone uses the Kevin MacLeod stuff, and it always, like, it sounds fine, but
People are really shameless about it. Like,
they are very shameless.
I would have assumed he would have at least come up with like, that's who we used to use, but then like everybody uses him.
No, I can't think of anything we've made in-house that's used his stuff. If people don't know Kevin MacLeod, he's the guy, some of his work. He has got a large library of music that he's made.
If you have ever been a filmmaker
Creative
who has done a
Commons.
Google search, free copyright free music,
Right.
he's the
shows
first
up.
link that
I
shows
would have
up.
thought he was at least like early days. but,
No, because early days in terms of like Scam School, like back when we were doing Scam School, we actually had a deal with APM, which is a similar music rights, music library licensor, and that was like a big blanket deal that Discovery, nay Rev3, nay whoever it was, had, and so we just kind of worked under them. And then once we kind of transitioned to Scam Nation, they said, we are not going to pay that many thousands of dollars for you. So
I will say it is weird that no other company or person has really come out as like a competition to Kevin MacLeod.
I mean, what are you competing with? He just gives away his music. I don't even know if he makes money in any way.
I mean, I
think
know he
he
gets a
takes
lot
donations.
of donations.
Yeah.
Just
He's like
donation. But you can't build a
Wikipedia.
business on donations.
He's like the Wikipedia of music. He's every once in a while he's like,
And Wikipedia's always people hitting up people for money.
yeah, it's like once a year they have like desperation banners where they're like, please give us your money.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how musicians make money. Full stop.
There are multiple services kind of out there like Artlist that are like, let's get some cheaply. I mean, I'm a musician. I'm saying this. Let's get some cheaply made music and license it out to video people and podcast people because there is a need for it.
Yeah. And I think it's about time that we started looking for different solutions because we've cycled through our library quite a few times by now.
Yeah. Well, check out the Artlist stuff and see if Brand has more, because I know sometimes he probably has a 100 tracks and you've just never checked or never, I don't know.
You could ironically fit in Kevin. Is it MacLeod? I thought it was like MacLeod.
It is spelled like
Just like
MacLeod.
ironically and or shamelessly, just throw them in every once in a while. See if anyone will notice.
I don't know that
They'll notice.
I don't know if that'll pass the sniff test.
Our fans are.
Find a funny time to do it though. During like a really stupid sketch or something.
Well, that's redundant for us.
Well, I edited a feature about a year ago, and we lost our music composer. I said, "Okay, Kevin, it is." because we had a deadline.
Yeah.
So we actually put it together using, I would say, maybe 90% of his stuff.
Wow.
And those were like the final cues you ended up using, not just like placeholders?
I know, they made it into the movie, man. It's got distribution and whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep an ear out for that. So we've got some Scam Nation stuff here. When Jason was here and we were doing the Mono Rogue stuff, we also shot a couple of episodes with him. Those episodes
And nobody bothered to tell him.
Oh, I mean, I never considered letting him know that those videos came out.
I didn't think about it either. And you and me both simultaneously told Brian, oh, well, Jason will be in one, right?
Oh, okay. Well, so hold on. We're talking about two different things.
Oh,
maybe.
are we?
So we planned to shoot Scam Nation videos with Jason during the shoot, and I think we were both in agreement that maybe this will just be Brian and Jason. And Josie. As far as my thinking goes, like, okay, this will be just Brian and Jason. This will kind of change things up a bit. And it was like, oh no, like Josie's definitely going to be there. It was like a very unspoken sort of thing. And then those videos did come out this week and last week. And we don't tell people who are guests on the show when their videos come out. So Jason's no different.
No, I meant that nobody told Jason that he was going to be on Scam Nation. That he was going to be guest starring.
So he was still asleep the day we shot those videos.
We told him.
I mean, sure, but not in a reasonable amount of time that he would know to be awake for it.
I don't agree with that version of history. But we also were shooting a bunch of other stuff before that and during the day. So like, definitely, I know he wasn't like activated in the first half of the day when we were shooting. Well, I don't know what we were shooting before that. Well, we were shooting the product ad that we were talking about, and so he wasn't involved for that. But I thought we were at least the day before, like, hey, can we take this day and make it Scam Nation stuff? So
I think you, me, and Brian all had that discussion. I don't think Jason was a part of it.
It was in Slack.
Okay.
It was in Slack. So we shot two. Those were fun. In fact, one of them I want to talk a little bit more specifically about was this most recent one. This was July 2nd, the Sticks episode. And this one, man, this one was a little stinker. This one was a little pain in my butt. So we were recording this. Were you here when we shot these, John?
I did not participate in those shoots. No.
Okay. Brant was. Well, you weren't there?
No, not for the Jason Josie shoots.
Okay, maybe Brant was bouncing around.
John was editing and I was working.
Okay.
Well,
this for this one, we had an issue with one of our memory cards, which we need to fully take out of commission.
Oh, yeah.
And about halfway into
the old R2.
R2, right? About halfway in, about 15 minutes or so, Brant's camera stops. And he gets this error that we had seen like the day before or a couple of days before. It says, memory card is not fast enough to write. We are stopping recording now.
Yeah.
And in the past, when that happened last time, because we had concerns like, oh, did we lose this footage? Is this footage corrupt? You tried to check it on the camera. It took a while, but then it ended up working and you were able to offload it right. When it happened here, we didn't check it in the camera. And so what it was doing when it took actual minutes to load that file was it was closing that file and it was saving that file, which we didn't do. And I guess because it had been shut off or it changed cards, it never thought like, oh, I can try to fix this or save this. So I had to look online for some solution that is out of like Norway or something, and paid like $50 or whatever for a 5-time use on this.
Oh, Jesus.
Or I could have gotten lifetime for $100. Or I think it was like €100 or something. Anyway, it was a real hassle to first off try to save the footage, because the way that this program works, it's like very particular. It's got different settings for different cameras, and it's all kind of written in translated English. But the weird thing was, so we end up with MOV files. That's right, I believe, John?
Yeah.
So it did give me an MOV file, but for whatever reason, the MOV file was mostly fine. The audio was bad, but it was mostly fun. There would be a couple of moments where it would get out of sync and it would like the video would stop and stutter or freeze and then catch up with itself. It only happened a few times, but it was really annoying. And apparently one of the solutions is take that MOV file that it recovers, and in the same program, have the same program re-encode it into an MP4. And so I am like 5 hours or so into editing this footage and trying to cut it and resync it constantly. And meanwhile, the proxy footage I've shot doesn't match the MOV.
Yeah.
And so like when I click the proxies on and off, the frames like change drastically, like half of a second difference, which is very bad. It's very bad when you're trying to do precise cuts. And then, so after all of that, I find out, oh, the MP4 file that it made is actually like perfect. It doesn't have any of those issues. But even then, the MP4 file doesn't make the right proxy, whatever. So it was a real pain in the butt to get this to work. But it ended up coming off fine. It ended up being solved. We need to get rid of that card.
And this was for an episode of Pickup Sticks?
No, it's a scam called Sticks, where you throw sticks, straws, matchsticks, whatever into the air, and it's kind of like Potentate of the Rose, Petals Around the Rose.
Oh, gotcha.
Where there's a tricky number sequence to it. It's not a number sequence, but a tricky number thing to it. And that was another one, just speaking in terms of challenges for that video, that was one where they did a lot of throws, like a lot of attempts at it. Like they did it with the Potentate of the Rose too. They just kept doing it and it kept stumping them, or kept stumping Josie. And it was its own like little bit of surgery to like trim it down, because it was like just 10 minutes alone of a cut of just them doing it without even the explanation or the ad or something. So it kind of took some tricky editing, and if you look really closely, you'll find some spots where it's like, oh, there's a little inconsistency between those cuts there. What's really going on? But I think it ended up being fun. I think Sticks is a fun trick, and so check it out on Scam Nation.
Nice.
Yeah. Let's see. Upcoming news for Scam Nation. We talked on the last shoot. We just filmed 2 more videos over the weekend, and we might shoot some more soon, of what would it look like. We've been shooting all these videos with Josie the past few months, and like it's a blessing that we're able to still produce new content, right? But also it's I don't know, we're doing a lot of older content, refreshing a lot of older content, getting a child's take on a lot of stuff, and I think we need to figure out what the evolution of that is. And it sounds like one thing that we're going to try to do starting with our next shoot, so at least in 2 weeks, in terms of videos coming out, like what does it look like to train Josie to get into magic or to be a magician?
Yeah.
And so that one is going to take a little more conceptual time, in terms of like, what are her benchmarks? What are her goals? What are the things she's trying to hit? And what is her ultimate goal going to be? Brian is obsessed with like her going to an open mic night. And I know from Twitter that someone in Austin is like doing open mic nights. And I know from Twitter that people are actually catching COVID from those open mic nights. So I don't really know what's going to happen with that. But there's a long way to go in magic anyway.
I mean, even before COVID, no child should go to an open mic night.
That's right. They can't take the drink tickets anyway. What are they going to do with them? But so you might see a little bit more of that, a little more conceptual and
I'm on board for that, because it'll allow Brian, what he's kind of always wanted is sort of an excuse, or at least a through line, to pontificate about what magic is, what people think it is, and what it isn't.
We'll see, because he also seemed a little skittish when we talked about that. I remember him saying, like, I only really get like a couple of minutes any video to talk abstractly about magic. And so I think it's good to break it up in pieces and have each one be very specific. Hey, we're going to talk about misdirection or but at the same time, and the reason we didn't shoot any of those over the weekend is we can't go in half-cocked about this. We really need to know a little bit of a roadmap on what that is.
Yeah.
So hopefully by the next time we shoot stuff, we'll have a better sense of what the different goals are on that.
That and keep an eye out for some new sponsors on the Scam Nation side. Hopefully coming soon.
That'll be cool. One last thing for kind of Scam Nation, kind of Modern Rogue stuff. We talked. I swear we talked about this last episode. Yes. So the Scam Nation content that was on our TikTok account, which is at Modern Rogue, that was a part of a campaign that TikTok themselves were running called Learn on TikTok, and we are now finished with that campaign, Learn on TikTok. Which means we had been doing 4 to 6 videos a week on TikTok, on that TikTok channel, and right now that is stopped/slowed to a halt. And it was on that same Scam Nation shoot that Brian was like, "Oh, hey, Bryce, you want to shoot some TikToks after this?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Why? We already did the contract
done,
is
bro.
done. We're just waiting to get paid." But I think us being partnered on TikTok is not nothing. One of our last TikTok videos that we put out has crossed over 2 million views at this point. And so there's value there. There's obviously an audience there. And we need to have a dialogue on kind of what our expectations are in using TikTok, because for me, I see it in the same way any of our social media accounts are, which is it'd be great if we posted there, but right now it's gonna have to be at the bottom of the totem pole.
Yeah.
And there are opportunities there to use it to promote stuff on Scam Stuff, or there are some conversations about ad spot.
Say, from the operations side, all the sponsors I deal with, they're all interested. They're all, a couple of them are asking and saying, offering some money to do some advertising and stuff there.
Yeah.
And
but we don't know how it looks. We don't know what it looks like.
No.
I think in terms of sponsored content.
I've been doing some fair amount of research into it, and there may be a fair amount of money there. We have to see.
But the other thing is, so I think there are a couple of things that I think that are solvable, but some of the hurdles on the horizon for that are as part of the Learn on TikTok program, we used this hashtag that I think kind of also double indicates that we're a partner for this program. And I think TikTok, with its invisible hands, it promoted those a little bit more than non-partner content. And you can see that disparity between the videos that we specify are part of that deal and the ones that are not. And so figuring out what an expectation is on view count is at a certain time. Because the other thing with TikTok is it's not like YouTube. It's not a long tail after a strong first day. It's some of those videos hit 24 to 48 hours after we posted them. And so there's that. There's only you only get up to a minute, and what does sponsored content look like, right? If it's opening a bespoke post thing, that can make sense if it's roguey. If it's talking about our favorite website building tools, I don't know that people will sit around for that. And so it's figuring out what it's not as easy as check it out, here's my makeup, here's this cool makeup that I'm loving and promoting, because we're not really in that space. So
Modern Rouge,
I think it's on the table. So we do want to post more stuff there. So at Modern Rogue on TikTok. There's also here's another hurdle, Corey. I don't know if you saw this in the news today. Non-zero chance that TikTok is just fucking banned in America.
In where? In
America, the country that we live in. They may just say no, thank you.
Really?
India just cut TikTok off, and it's because the American government realized that they're doing everything that Google and Twitter does. So stealing data, not cool when it goes out of the country. Apparently, that stealing. This is all parody. Don't take away our check mark, please. But it's so. TikTok. I would love to use it, especially as a means to promote the YouTube stuff. I think we have a lot of great YouTube content that can be clipped and worked out just like we do for Instagram stories. In fact, I bet a lot of that content, without really many changes, could easily be ported over just so that there's stuff there. So that's an update on TikTok. We'll have more to say probably next episode.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that'll do it for our main content. This is where we would talk about some off-topic stuff, things that have been going on in our lives. I know everyone's just going out and having a great time right now. We've had plenty of free time, and there's so many opportunities to just...
The parties.
all of the parties. Let's go around the horn, see what everyone's been up to. Jacob, have you been doing anything?
I'm taking classes, and
nice.
I'm also working.
Through
stuff like this.
Are you doing? I'm assuming all your classes moved online.
Yes, it's beautiful. I think in the fall they're not staying this way. I hope they change their mind.
Yeah,
they really should, and also I would drastically prefer it. But also, like, even if I preferred to be in class, they should. But Doom Patrol Season 2 came out.
Oh, nice. I think that's on HBO now, or on HBO Max.
Yeah. I was one of the people that got DC Universe.
Oh.
And I am so happy it's back, and I feel like nobody's ever seen it.
I hear it's great, and now that it's on HBO Max, I'm willing to check it out. I had the same thing with Search Party. Like, nobody watched Search Party, and Search Party is very cool, and now they made the new season in HBO Max, original, whatever.
Yeah.
Very cool. And there's a longer conversation to be had about what education looks like in the next 6 months. But this is a short segment of the show. Corey, what have you been up to?
Mario Tennis Aces.
Oh, I heard
on the
fun.
Switch.
Yeah.
It is. If you like Mario Tennis, it is some Mario Tennis. Man, is it nothing but Mario Tennis.
It's nothing but tennis.
Yes.
I have the same thing with Mario Kart. When I'm like, Mario Kart's supposed to be fun, and then you load up. It's fucking Mario Kart. It's a lot of Mario Karting.
Yeah. And so if you're looking for some tennis action, that is the only thing you do in this game.
I hear it's good though.
It is.
And you got a kid, multiplayer stuff, like I'm sure. Like,
Yep. The one thing I'd love if you ever play it, the music is just not great.
Oh, really?
It's like stadium. I don't know. I don't know how to describe the music.
Sure.
It's just lots of noise, and it just never stops. It's just like crazy intro to a tennis tournament.
Yeah.
Big loud music, and it just stays there forever, and it never changes.
I always find it weird that Nintendo games like never have like volume controls.
Yeah.
It was like Pokemon Sword and Shield, like they have to give you an item at some point and say like, hey, here's a magical earbud. Do you want to change the music using the magical earbud? Because they won't put it in the fucking settings. Okay, Mario Tennis Aces. There we go. John, what have you been up to?
Well, last month was my birthday. And
happy birthday, John.
My girl got
happy
me
birthday, John.
Thank you. My girl got me a DuckTales pop. He's got the red shirt, so that means it's the current DuckTales.
It's the
which is
Scrooge
pretty
McDuck.
awesome, right?
Yeah, that's cute.
And I've been falling down a weird. I don't know, everybody
Super
deals
weird.
with the pandemic in their own way.
Yeah.
I've been falling in love with Tuesday Weld of Dobie Gillis fame. I've been getting like a lot of old pictures and clippings and like Hollywood pictures and stuff. And I don't know why. She just kind of fascinates me. Not only is, she a gorgeous girl, I'm like watching these old wacky sitcoms. And I'm like, were people allowed to be that gorgeous back then? Mm-hmm. But on top of that, she is a fantastic actor in such a like Marlon, like Sam Shepard called her the Marlon Brando of female actors.
Oh,
she's just got this strange way about her that's really compelling. But we're all dealing with a pandemic in our own way. Mr. Montes, how have you been? What have you been up to other than what I tell you to be up to?
Jeez. Great
man,
power
usually
dynamics, John.
Usually I tell people if I have a beard, it's because I've been busy, and I have been very busy lately, man. What used to be that I had like 50-50 set time, and then 50% of my was post-production. But right now, because of the pandemic and whatnot, I haven't been doing too much set time. I've been spending maybe something more like 75-85 on the post-production side, so that's wonderful. Besides that, just freaking out a little bit over this whole ARM thing chip. I don't know if you heard about that, where Apple, Mac, they're switching over to their own proprietary chips.
Right.
And
Apple Silicon.
Exactly. And that's freaking me out because all my editing systems, my two primary systems are Mac clones. They run on Intel-based chips. So it's like, damn it. They're going to force me to buy that machine in 2 years.
No,
So-
you will. They will continue. They will continue to make Intel. They will continue to support Intel for a. You'll be good for a few years.
I'm giving it 3, and then after that, it's just gonna go downhill, man. I don't know, but thanks for giving me hope. I appreciate
You're
that.
good. You're gonna be good. You're gonna. You're gonna be good.
Thanks. That makes me
Are
feel
you
good,
are you
man.
someone? Okay, we've talked about this on the show a lot over the years. I am an update Luddite. I don't want you to touch my data. I don't want to update anything if I can help it.
I'll tell. Forgive me for interrupting, but Bryce hired Matt David to do some Scam Nation stuff, and the only way they could do it is if Bryce finally updated his Adobe software.
okay.
From 2017 to 2019, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
Yeah, he hadn't
Jesus.
updated it in 2 years, and he pays for it.
It works. If I update, that's when they add bugs.
Oh man.
That's where I'm at. Fabian, are you?
How often do you update?
Are
Fabian?
you an update, or do you stay up to date? I guess is the question.
Well, the thing is, on my actual Mac computers, I do keep them up to whatever the OS is, whatever editing, Premiere, Final Cut. I'm always up to date on all that, DaVinci Resolve. But on my 2 hacks, which are my primary editing systems, I ran into a problem about a year ago where I forgot that I ticked the little box that says, "Hey, do you want me to update everything for you?" And you forget about it.
Whoop.
And I was not aware that I did that. So the machine updated itself, and it restarted, and it never fired back up again.
Oh.
So I had to switch over all my workflow to my actual Mac components, my $6,000 Mac Pro, which worked 3 times slower than the Hackintosh that I had.
Oh.
So yeah, to answer your question, I don't update too often.
Okay. Updating causes problems.
The other day, Max, John hits me up and says, "Hey, Fabian, make sure you update your Adobe." I was like, okay, fine, I'll do that. So I went ahead and did
See,
that.
it's you.
See, just do what I tell you, and everything will be fine.
His computer broke.
But I'm barely like switching my hacks over to Catalina, and Catalina's been around for a while. Now they got the new system coming out, but that's how behind I am. I don't jump over right away because I've run into issues in the past, and in this business, you need to try to avoid that as much as possible.
Yeah.
You grow gray hair you grow when you have like editing problems. So
I wouldn't know about gray hair.
I definitely had a mini panic moment because they just updated Creative Cloud recently with all the new visual designs and logos and stuff.
Oh.
And my Premiere and After Effects didn't update, but the Photoshop did, or it updated the new splash screen, and Media Encoder did. And I was super worried because I've had an issue before where if your Media Encoder is not on the same release as your like Premiere or anything, then it can sometimes it'll just be like, nah, I'm not even going to let you import stuff into me. And I was super worried about that, but I'm still able to be on my 2020.0 whatever. I'm good. I'm good.
All right.
What have I been up to? Thanks for asking, everybody. I also had a birthday.
Woo, yeah, you
a couple
did.
weeks ago, and have been I don't know, finding reasons to go outside, doing a lot of walking, using my patio a little more. I have this 10 square feet of a little balcony outside my apartment, and so I got a chair out there. I've ordered a little side table. I've got some lights, some string lights strung up,
just in time for 100-degree weather.
It's I like the heat though. I like the heat, and it is a lot. Granted, it is a lot. The thing that actually bugs me the most is, I've mentioned on the show before, I'm pretty sure that I had last year I had a bad wasp infestation, big time. Hundreds of wasps.
Damn.
Nesting on my patio. That's gone. They solved it, but it's just every once in a while. And sometimes they keep their distance, sometimes they don't, and I gotta reach for my can of spray. I got a spray thing out there, and I'm pretty sure you can use it on wasps. but I don't. It's not one of the ones that like shoots 20 feet. It's more like an aerosol, general aerosol. So I'll spray it, and sometimes they'll try to come back, and sometimes I'm not gonna have to hit them 2 or 3 times. But I can't. I don't play around. But they will find places to nest and lay their eggs and stuff. And
Yeah.
I don't know. The neighbor below me just got new neighbors, and they've got a lot of flowers and bright colored flowers and stuff, and they're bringing in bees and wasps and hornets and shit. We're gonna have
What's wrong with bees? Don't.
bees are fine. I don't see bees. You're right. Bees are fine. I don't see bees. I'll take bees. Right. Bees are cute. So trying to get out more.
Yeah.
I need to get new shoes. That's the other thing. I've been walking a lot. I need to get these $20 fucking Walmart things. I feel like they are melting.
You got the $20 Walmart shoes too?
That's right.
Is it the one that has the suction cup at the bottom and you stick to all the surfaces you walk on? Oh no, that one doesn't have it.
It doesn't have a suction cup, but you can. I could just kind of tell that the bottom is worn away in the not even a year that I've had it, and it squeaks. The other thing is I can feel it squeak. I don't know if you can hear it squeak, but I know I can feel it.
I just bought 3 pairs of shoes because this guy hooked me up with a $30 Skechers gift card.
Oh, yeah.
So I spent $130 on new shoes. But
That's how
they're
they
pretty
get you.
nice.
Yeah,
super comfy.
I need recommendations for running walking shoes, because every time I go online, I just tell me I want a good walking shoe that looks good. I am like an aesthetics person. I need it to just look nice.
Nope, I love
Puma. Puma.
You had a big recommendation for Pumas.
I love Skechers. They're super comfy, but be prepared to return them once or twice or 3 times, because Skechers doesn't understand what shoe sizes are. For example, if you measure my feet, they're about 11 and a half. Some shoes I even have to wear 12s. Skechers, I wear 10 and a halves. They don't understand what shoe sizes are.
That's not
standards, man. Quality control.
And
Yeah.
2 years ago, I was wearing 11 and a half Skechers, but now 10 and a half, because they just change them up at random. It's weird.
In the chat, Kuhan has suggested Adidas Ultra Boost. I considered Adidas so right before all this stuff happened, I got a nice pair of Adidas, just like walking around shoes, casual shoes. And now I don't wear them anymore because I don't go out anymore. That's why I want to get some nice kind of walking around shoes. So maybe I'll check those out. So that's it for the show.
Yay!
Fabian, thank you so much for joining us. Is there a website or social media that people should check out if they want to see you or contact you?
Oh, Cinnabotfilms.com.
Cinnabotfilms.com. That's great.
Yeah, that's under construction, but you could find me on Cinnabot Films on Instagram.
Great. That's awesome. Let's see. We're doing plugs here. Let's go in reverse order. Corey, do you want to plug anything?
Sure. Twitter, CCRANFILL.
Ooh, that's new.
C Cranfill. It's been there. I just never really promote it because I don't do much on there except lawyer.
Loiter.
Loiter.
Okay,
There we go.
Corey is not a licensed lawyer.
He's not a lawyer. Oh, you got to update that. It still says that you live in Oklahoma.
Oh, it's funny. Look at that.
All right. Jacob, what's up with you?
I just got a shout out.
Oh, nice.
Shout out to everybody beyond the fourth wall. These are weird times. Be good to yourselves. Take care of each other. All that stuff.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Good. And it's good to remember that. It's good. Just everyone, just be cool. We're gonna make it through.
Hopefully. Yeah.
Well, okay. You can't add hope. You can't say hopefully.
You gotta have the hope.
If you say hopefully, it fills people with dread.
No, you gotta keep hope.
Yes, be hopeful.
Yeah.
Hopeful, not hopefully.
Be hopeful that we're gonna get through it.
Okay, let's move. John.
I don't want to make any empty promises. Go to twitter.com/skepticallypwned or my Instagram. I'm going to start posting more stuff there.
Nice. And that's PWNED.
PWND. I don't believe in silent vowels.
Oh, man.
You can find me on Twitter at Brycas, BRYCAS. And I do a bunch of streaming here on Twitch, twitch.tv/Night Attack. And that is also where you can find this show. This is called The Bizarre Briefing. You just listen to it. You can find past episodes and show notes and stuff all at bizarrebriefing.com. If you want to watch the video version of this show, youtube.com/scamstuff. The Scam Stuff channel is where we post the video version of it. It's got time codes. They got the YouTube chapter thing now.
Yeah, I noticed that.
And so that's
you can scroll down and see what they're talking about at the time.
Yeah, that's really cool. Still doesn't work on TV. The TV version doesn't have anything for that. Why would they ever make anything unified or anything? It's Google. So check that out. We try to record this show the end of the month and talk about the previous month. So this was the June episode. We'll have our July episode near the end of the month of July. Let's see, anything else? No?
Yeah.
Go in 3, 2, 1. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Thank you, guys. Yeah.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.